So we've said that the competency framework is what forms the basis of a self-assessment. And if you're not already familiar with it, published in last year, and you can see that these are the core competencies. There's 24 competencies across 4 different domains. Apologies if you've already, you've got the book and you've been using it and all of that kind of good stuff. But, there's probably some people here that are not totally familiar with it. But essentially, a competency framework allows you to look at what competencies are required in your role. And we were once told that it's really difficult to do a PMO competency framework because PMOs are different, aren't they? Every PMO is different, but actually it can be done, and we'll show you exactly how it works and why you'll be able to do a self-assessment, even though your PMO might be very different to somebody else's. But essentially what you're doing is a self-assessment against a particular role. That's how it's been designed. However, you can also do a self-assessment against the entire competency framework. So it gives people those choices. It also allows people to do a self-assessment against different contexts. So what you're seeing on screen there now is what we consider to be the 4 main different contexts that you would see in PMO. Obviously, project, program, portfolio, and center of excellence. Now, you're probably looking at something like this and saying, well, actually, I work across both projects and program, or I do a bit of program and I'm doing, just about to do some portfolio stuff. The great thing about doing a self-assessment is that you can do an assessment against any or all of them. So it doesn't really matter which one if you're straddling different areas, you can certainly do that. So there's 4 different contexts and there's 4 different roles, and the roles are administrator, analyst, manager, and director. So again, you can do an assessment against a different role as well. There's also, you'll see there is what's called proficiency levels. And the way that these are laid out are to give you an idea about what kinds of tasks and activities are happening at the different levels. And how you do a self-assessment is essentially you start to read through what are some of the proficiencies and what are some of what they're called indicators. So those bullet points that you see are to give you an example of what you would see at a particular level. So if you look at the foundation one, in order to be able to assess yourself that, I'm very much at that foundational level, you'll be pretty much ticking off all of those indicators. However, there is that option, that flexibility, that there will be other things that you're doing within your day-to-day job, but it's not there, but should be. And that's where the flexibility comes in. Indicators are, as it just says, it's an indication. They're not set in stone and that's all that you should be doing. It's to give you an idea about what kind of things you'll be doing at a foundational level. There's a lot more insights to that actually within the competency framework book itself, but essentially that's how it works. So you're going to be doing a self-assessment to see what kind of leveling you're coming out at, and against the different competencies within the competency framework. But not only that, you're also going to be looking at a self-assessment against some of the knowledge, skills, and behaviours that also go along with doing the role. So competencies are about how competent you are at doing the job. But we know that, just carrying out a task or activity involves a lot more than just competency. It involves different knowledge. It includes different skills that you'll be utilising. Sometimes when you're carrying out a task, you might be using 3 or 4 or 5 different skills in order to be able to perform that task. And then, of course, we know that behaviours very much make a difference to anybody in their role. You can choose to be a proactive team player, all that kind of good stuff. And again, these are the kind of things that wrap around how we do our job. So those are the things in the competency framework that essentially you are self-assessing against.